Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I know that there's no one watching at this particular moment, but I'm sure people will come and go as we get going. And for those of you who want to watch after the fact, want to have me just sitting here for a long time. So we might as well just get this party started. So my name is Jake Hershfield. Thank you all for joining and watching. It's always nice to spend some time doing these live streams. Today's video, we're going to go through a couple of new games that we added and then talk a little bit about the future of Unshuffled. So I'll get to that in a second. So we're going to play Irish Poker and we're going to play Iron Cross. So these are games we tried to play in the last live stream. We had some connectivity issues, fixed those, so we should be good to go. So I'm going to dive right in. We're going to use our Play the Computer feature, a great way to practice and play games that maybe you've never heard of. I will turn blinds on. I'll turn dealer's choice on, and then we'll go ahead and click play now. Join the room. And we'll buy in. Once I buy in, we'll have our computer players, these three people right here. And then we go ahead and we can start the game. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my video here. Whoops. There we go. Get rid of that and turn that off. Actually, I'll try and turn my video on, right? See if I can get this working here. Cool. All right. So we're going to play Irish Poker first. I don't really know where the name comes from. I saw it on another poker platform called Donk House. Great guy, the founder there. I met him. He's a super, super nice guy, really smart. And so he told me about the game. I thought it was kind of cool, so I decided to add it to Unshuffled. It is an auto game, so the game will be handled for you with our software. And you can think of Irish Poker as Omaha and Texas Hold'em combined. So each player gets 4 cards, and then you just play just like as if you would play Omaha. So we'll do a round of betting. The computer players will go pretty quickly. We'll see the flop. We'll do another round of betting. And then some interesting stuff will start to happen. Once the last person has bet, they start to discard. You can see the players are discarding. You have to get rid of 2 cards after the flop. It's tricky because in some scenarios you think you've got great cards, you want to keep them. Like I probably should hold on to these 2 4s, but there's an 8 on the board. I have an ace and a 10. I don't know. Like maybe I should keep the ace 10. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the ace 10 just because I like having a pair in my hand. We'll see the turn. There's a 9. Not great for me. But now we just play like Texas Hold'em. So it's kind of a fun variation of Omaha and Texas Hold'em because you get the best of both worlds. That really sucks, the 8. My guess is someone has a full house, but we're going to find out here in a second. And I like the game because it just adds a little more variability to the game. You know, it's not your standard Texas Hold'em game. It's not your standard Omaha game. It's a little different. So I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to go play Iron Cross. Iron Cross is unique because you cannot play with our computer players because it's a little more complicated than that. This is the game that we built Unshuffled for. This is what caused us to create this platform. It's one of my favorite games, and I think it's super, super fun. The stakes get really, really high really fast. And I'm just talking now, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to host a room. I've got a couple other players here that are waiting for me. I'll turn dealer's choice on. You're going to want to leave antes on. You can't play Iron Cross in a blinds room. And then we'll go ahead and click play now, and we'll join the room. I'm going to buy in. I'm going to use this room link real quick, the code, just to sign in with these other players. So we've got SR 147. Cool. This one. And there's the other. You'll see we've got these names here, Peter Parker and James Bond. These are guest users. So this is kind of a new thing as well. It's a couple weeks old now, but now when you play on Unshuffled, only the host has to have an account. Once they send the link or users use the code to get into a room, they'll have the option to play as a guest. That way they don't have to, create an account, sign in, 2-factor auth, all that stuff. hello to whoever just joined. It's great to have you. We're about to jump into a game called Iron Cross, which is why we built Unshuffled in the first place. It's kind of a funky game, really, really interesting, really, really cool. And I'm really excited to show you all what it's all about. Thanks again for joining. For those of you who are watching later, I really appreciate it. So Iron Cross, remember, Auntie's room only. So we'll go ahead and start the room. I'm going to have to turn some audio stuff off here real quick, so just bear with me. There we go. Cool. Sorry about that. I can go ahead and turn this camera on. All right. So Iron Cross, what is it? Iron Cross is a gut-style game. The goal of the game is to make the best 3-card hand using your cards and community cards. So I'm going to go through a hand really quick. It's nice because Unshuffled handles all the important interactions for you, so you don't have to worry about them. It's the only place you can play this game online is on Unshuffled. You cannot play this game anywhere else. I guarantee it. So I'll go ahead and click load. And here we go. So each player is dealt 3 cards, and then the cross is dealt on the community board. The first action is a betting round. So is a declaration round. So there's no betting rounds in gut style games, or at least in Iron Cross. So at this point, we have to decide if we want to stay in the hand or if we want to drop. We don't like our cards. For the sake of this first round, I'm going to stay with all the players, so you can see. And as you stay, you'll see the players' declarations here in the corners. So go ahead and stay. Once everyone's declaration is made, each player gets a 4th card. There's another declaration round, which you'll see happens in 2 seconds, 1 second. There we go. Again, I'm going to stay with all of our players. And after this, we're going to have our opportunity to select the cards we want to use to make our best 3-card hand. So Iron Cross gets its name because of the cross on the board. And the way that you play is your goal is to make the best 3-card hand using any of your cards in any combination of these 2 cards, the face-up cards, the up-down cards, the across cards, or the face-down cards. So whichever community card selection you end up choosing will be the cards you get to use in combination with your cards to make the best 3-card hand. So looking at my cards, I see if I go up and down, I have a flush, plus a pair, potential for 3 of a kind, which is the best hand in this game. So I'm going to go ahead and do up, down, and I will confirm. We'll go ahead and select some other variations for these players. The cards will flip over, and then a winner will be selected. So I won because I had a straight flush. I'm going to pause this really quick. And then the other players lost because they had flushes. And this is where Iron Cross gets interesting because it's a pot matching game. So normally in poker, traditional poker, players bet during betting rounds. When the hand is over, the pot goes to the winner. In Iron Cross, there's no betting, but all players that make it to the last betting round and then lose have to match the pot. So the pot was 30 because the ante was 10 each. Each of these players has to bet 30 or put 30 chips into the pot. And now the pot will be 60. So if we go through this exercise again and both players lose, they each will owe 60, the pot will go to 120. And then if we do that again, they both owe 120 and the pot will go to 240, and so on and so forth. So you can see with a lot of players how quickly the stakes can get quite high. One other thing to note is that when the stakes do start to get high and you've got maybe a 500 chip pot or something, some groups like to cut off the max loss so it's not just like detrimental and demoralizing. So the dealer can always change this value to 100 if it's too high. In this scenario, we're going to leave it at 30 because that was what the pot was. We'll go ahead and confirm. And then I remain the dealer, and the game goes again. And that's it. You just keep playing until all players in the room, except for one, have dropped after one of the declaration rounds. There are a couple other small caveats here. So let's say that we all stay after this first round. Each player gets a 4th card, and then you say, you know what, I don't like my chances, I'm going to drop. Because you saw a 4th card, you're going to get penalized by dropping. and the penalty is 10% of the pot. So in this scenario, if I drop and then these two players stay, the pot will go to 66 and I will lose 6 chips. And that's because I saw the fourth card and I lost, and you have to be penalized for it. And it's a fraction of the pot, because as the pot gets bigger, we want the penalty to scale with it, or else you'd always want to see your fourth card. A couple other important things: if all players drop in any given round, we just reshuffle the cards. The pot stays the same. So let's say none of us like our cards. This happens all the time, actually. We all drop. The deck's just reshuffled, and we keep going. And then finally, like I said before, if all players drop except for one, that is what it signifies the end of the game. So we'll drop here, and then this player will stay. You'll see these two players will fold their cards. Last player standing is me. And then the dealer button will move, and that is it. That's Iron Cross. Like I said, I think it's super fun. It takes a little bit getting used to, but once you figure it out, it is a blast. It's so much fun to see who has a higher risk tolerance, who doesn't. You know, it's just a game that you would never know to play unless you've heard of it. And then once you hear about it, you just want to play it all the time. My dad and his friends, it's the only game they play. All they play is Iron Cross. A couple important things that we're working on right now, just as an update. You know, we've heard about some issues with lag or with cards flipping over when they're not supposed to. We are working on a pretty big refactor of Unshuffled, which is just a fancy way of saying we're improving the performance of the platform. This should come relatively soon, maybe in the next 2 weeks or week. We're really excited, I'm really excited at least, because I think it's going to really enhance the experience overall. And then what I'm really excited for is introducing some smarter computer players that you can play with in public rooms to get more practice and actually play when you join. So a piece of feedback that we got from a lot of users is, you know, I don't always have my friends ready to play with, and scheduling games is really hard. So what we're doing is we're taking the scheduling and the hassle of trying to create a game or find a game out of the equation, and we're putting in some players into all the public rooms. So whenever you join a public room, there will always be people playing. That's not to say that other users can't join those public rooms. And in fact, we are encouraging other players to join those rooms. But I'm sure you've all been there where you get to a public room, you see that no players in it, and you said, I don't want to join. Now there will be at least 4 or 5 or 6 players in every room. It'll be more enticing to join. So when you're in a room with a couple computer players and a couple users, more users want to join because there's action there. And then the computer players will slowly leave. And then before you know it, it'll be all users. So I'm really excited about it. It'll help build out the public rooms flow a little more, get a little more usage. And then we'll start giving away prizes for, you know, good performance and usage and so on and so forth. So it should be great stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. And we have some other really, really big fun things coming. But I don't want to give that stuff away, or else I wouldn't have anything to talk about during the next live stream. So that's it. Someone just joined. Thank you so much for joining. Unfortunately, I'm just wrapping up. We just went through how to play Irish poker, which is just a combination of Texas Hold'em and Omaha. We did Iron Cross, which is a gut-style game that you can't play anywhere else except for on Unshuffled. And we talked about what's coming on Unshuffled in terms of updates. Big back-end refactor, which is just a fancy way of saying improvements to performance. And more player liquidity in the public rooms. Really excited for it all, and we can't wait for you all to try it out. Again, thank you for watching, for joining, for being a follower of Unshuffled, and I can't wait to talk to you all next time. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, concerns, please just shoot me an email. I will post my email in the YouTube channel. You can also just leave me you know what, better than email. If you go to unshuffled.io and you go to the top left corner, click contact and support, anything that comes in here goes directly to my email. It just comes straight to it. That's better than me posting my email on the public web. So this is better. I will post a link to this in the comment section. Anyone can go to that and add a comment or a like or a feature request or a bug or a bug report or really anything. So if you've got something you want to talk about or say, add it to this field and submit. It'll go right to my email and I'll get back to you right away, usually within like 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the support, and I can't wait for next time. Have a great rest of your day.